It's Bossy time! Welcome to Pavlorzi 2026 World Bossy Cup! This is day 6, and please welcome the pairs for the BC4 medals matches. Playing on court number 2 for BC4 pairs final, the match between Portugal and Great Britain. The official will be Maria Ukar. Playing on court number 4 for the BC4 pairs third place match, the match between Hungary and Hong Kong, China. The official will be Roberto Peselin. Start warm-up. So playing on court number 2 for the BC4 pairs final, representing Great Britain, Stephen Maguire and Sophie Newham. Representing Portugal, Paulo Cardoso e Carlo Oliveira. Playing on court number 4 for BC4 pairs third place match, representing Hong Kong, China, Yu Qing Leung and Yuan Xiong. Representing Hungary, Gergo Berkes and Alexandra Savo. Good luck to all and may the best win.
As we now start with the finals here on the pairs and teams competition, as now on court 2, we're gonna have the first final, and it's the BC4 pairs, and the match will be between Portugal playing with the red and Great Britain playing with blue. I'm your commentator, Diogo Carvalho, and with me I have now a co-commentator, Mr. Graham Thomas, the World Boccia media consultant. Graham, thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Diogo.
So, we're gonna have here a bit of rivalry between us. Of course, I'll be supporting Portugal, you'll be supporting Great Britain.
Of course, of course. I try to be a bit more neutral in my role for World Boccia.
I'll
so
also try to.
if I jump up and down, you'll have to remind me that I'm supposed to be neutral, okay? But no, this should be a great final.
Yes, as we see now, Portugal already finished their warm-up. The coach giving the final instructions to Portugal. As now it will be Great Britain's turn. And of course, as you already seen here, the Great Britain pair, a great pair with Stephen Maguire and Sophie Newham, the world's best pair in BC4. Of course, these two pairs are preparing for the World Cup in Seoul. So, Graham, could you explain us to also our viewers what's your current role
Yeah, I'm a journalist, and my current role with World Boccia is as a part-time media consultant. So I work 1 day a week for World Boccia. Um, it's although we're a global body, we have a very small permanent staff. So a number of people work in part-time roles, and my role is to help as a media consultant. We don't have any full-time media staff, but I do a part-time role, and that's mainly trying to advise on how we can improve our media coverage, how we can broaden the coverage across the sport throughout the world, both in traditional media, broadcasting, and also social media. So it's all about trying to make the sport more popular, more recognizable around the world, for both an internal audience, if you like, a boccia audience of players and coaches and volunteers and so on, which is quite a small world, and then a much bigger world beyond that of people who don't know much about boccia. How do we get them involved? How do we stimulate and excite people to become interested in this incredible sport? It's a sport that I really didn't know very much about at all until a couple of years ago when I began working for World Boccia. But very quickly I discovered it's a unique sport in so many different ways. Not only the people who are involved as athletes, but also the whole vibe, I think. The whole
Start
accessible,
matches.
very friendly vibe about boccia is one of its big strong points.
Of course, as now we get ready to start the match, and will be Portugal, the first to throw the jack, and it will be the future #1 in the world ranking in BC4, Carlo Oliveira, to start the match. So you have an interesting job to bring a larger audience to this sport. And what made you? I believe you already fell in love with boccia. I think it's easy because of the vibe, as you were saying, about not only the athletes, the staff, people that are involved in boccia are together for this love of the sport.
They are. It's a small community, but the people are very friendly. It's very accessible, and I think from a media perspective, what makes it interesting, and I think will attract more media attention, is that the athletes are very accessible. They're very willing to talk before and after competition. A lot of them are very active on social media as well, and have big social media followings. So I think the sport is all set up really to become much more recognizable around the world and make more of an impact. And I suppose my theory is that we should try and promote the brilliant athletes that we have, how spectacular some of the shot making is, and try to get that wider audience involved by being excited by the spectacle, the excitement
maybe
of the
it
sport.
just needs a spark to really ignite this fire.
Yeah.
As we now are underway in our game, we saw first great positioning play by Carlo Oliveira, and then an opening from the Great Britain pair, but not able to fully open the view for the jack. And Graham, and now a great opening
That's
by
a good
Stephen
effort from
Maguire.
Stephen, isn't it? Yes.
Now both him and Sophie are able to see fully the jack. And Graham, when I invited you, I almost said that this was a podcast, as I believe that the audience should not only see the match, but also know what's happening behind the doors, behind of these amazing athletes and the amazing games that we broadcast. And I also, now a great position by Sophie Newnham. And I talked already with Erinaldo, president of AND from Brazil, and also with Paul Trainer, the CEO from World Boccia. And we tried to talk about what we can do in this sport to make it more visible and more appealing.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I said, and maybe it goes with what you said about the following on the social media. Do you think that this sport would need a big first superstar, a megastar, to like I would say not a Lionel Messi, but
Yeah.
a Cristiano Ronaldo in terms of following to really bring the attention to the sport?
Yeah, well, I think we have a lot of those athletes already, and it's really a case of showcasing their ability, their athleticism, their incredible skills, and their technique. And I think once you can do that to a wide audience, then you'll create those superstar players. So we have them already. I think we just need to shine a brighter light on them and say, hey, these are our rock stars. Look how fantastic they are.
Exactly. Maybe is just that what we need, because of course, and in Povo we have some of those big stars, the best players in the world come here to also get a little bit of training against their possible opponents at the World Championships. I know that you've been trying something here in Povo with the media. I don't know if you can give that information right away.
We don't really have many mix zones at the tournament, so we've tried to introduce one here, just somewhere where the athletes can go to be interviewed, and the media can grab instant reactions from players, because it's at that moment, I think, where players have won and lost, where you get the best emotional reaction from people. And I think that's all part of selling the sport, really. You want to see the emotion on the court, but you also want to hear that emotion in the athletes' voices in the moment of triumph, or dare I say, in the moment of disappointment. You want to hear from them. So we've got a mix zone set up here at Povwa. There'll be a mix zone also at the World Championships in Seoul. There's already obviously a regular mix zone at Paralympic Games, but that's something that's organised by actually the Paralympic IOC rather than the sport itself. So we're trying to introduce it into the competitions and the tournaments that we run, to have a mix zone. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I spoke to both. I spoke to Stephen Maguire yesterday after he'd won, and had an interesting perspective from Stephen about the fact that he's been coming here to Portugal for 16 years. He's been around a long time. I think Sophie Newnham would only been about 2 years old when Stephen started coming here. So there's a big gap in their experience, but they make a great team, don't they? And they made a good start here.
As we now see Sophie playing as Great Britain try to make some points here. The point, as we see in this camera, it's for Portugal. And of course, and it must be great for you to have such a diverse athletes, as we said. In this pair, we have the world number one, Stephen Maguire, very experienced player. You have Sophie as almost a newbie, that as I would say that Paulo is also, and it's a diverse area. And how can we explore that in terms of media?
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the great things about the sport, isn't it? It's a sport for all ages. So, as I say, I think there's a big gap in age, 30 years or so between Stephen Maguire and Sophie Newnham. Stephen did admit that when he first came to Portugal 16 years ago, he told me he still had hair. So it was that long ago, he said. So it is a sport for all ages. But that's what makes it great, isn't it? To see young, exciting players. I think Sophie is the youngest athlete in this tournament. She's only 18 years old. She might even have gone to the Paris Paralympics as a 15-year-old, but I think she was 11 days too young to make that qualification. She just didn't quite fulfill the age criteria. She was considered too young. But that would have been great, wouldn't it, to have a 15-year-old competing at the Paralympics?
Because I believe that in the sports, the age is not the most important. And as in all sports, what they give to the sports, what they do, and their talent, it's what really matters. And now, as we saw here, this play by Paulo, inspired in Sophie's last ball that was in top of the other Reds, and he managed to do the same.
It's a very tight cluster of balls there, isn't it?
It's a very close game, as expected in the final, and Carla will not play the last ball. And the referee says 1 for Red, 1 for Portugal. And now lead this game in the first end by 1-0. Of course, 1 point in boccia, as we have been seeing here on these 6 days of competition, is nothing. We had games that a team was winning by 5, ended up losing. So, and that's also a great aspect of this game, and that we now see the result on the other court for the third and fourth place, that Hong Kong pair is winning 3-0 against Hungary. And as I was saying, we've seen that no matter what the result is, the players will always go for more, for more, for more, and sometimes even risk losing just to score more. That's something that we can take advantage of to promote, is that hunger that they have.
Yeah, and there, as you said, Diogo, there's so many different backgrounds and personalities to the sport. I did an interview with Carla Oliveira yesterday after she won, or Wednesday rather, after she won the individual tournament here, and she was telling me that she took time off out the sport for a little while to have a daughter.
Exactly.
But she's returned and come back, and is even more determined to succeed than before. And it's a great aspect of the sport. You know, some sports it's quite difficult for women to have children and come back and compete and be as good as they were in the sport. But she obviously has found that she can do that in boccia, and she's managing to juggle being a mother with being a world-class elite boccia player. So it's a great positive story.
Of course, I worked closely with Carla these past 2 years, and I still remember in Povo here, I believe it was back in 2022, that Carla won here also the individual competition, and only afterwards she told us that she was already pregnant, 3 months pregnant.
She'd kept it a secret from you.
She kept a secret, and then afterwards she had her daughter, and of course then she went to Rotterdam, where she won her first European Championship, and she last year in Zagreb won another one. Of course, it's something that fills all the Portuguese with pride. But as you said, it's not easy for a woman, especially a woman, to get pregnant, to have a daughter or a son, and then come back to a sport. It's not something that we normally see.
Yeah, it's interesting that it's something that more sports are obviously trying to make that path easier for women. I know it's happened in football. And tennis as well now have guidelines in place to allow women to take time off, to have maternity and not lose ranking points. Because I think one of the problems in many sports up until only quite recently was that if you took time out of the sport, you would lose ranking points. So you could fall down the world rankings simply because you'd taken time off to have a baby, which is obviously very unfair because it's not something that's going to happen to the male athletes. So most sports have dealt with that now, and they allow those rankings to be preserved at the time that women athletes have the maternity leave. I think that's the case in boccia as well. So it's yeah, I mean, anyone can see that the brilliant example that somebody like Carla can inspire. It really is wonderful to see an athlete coming back and doing so well and carrying on being a mother.
And now, as we've seen this great approximation by Stephen Maguire, showing why he's also #1 in the world. So it's a great match here that we have both experienced players, either Stephen Maguire or Carla. Stephen is currently the world #1. Carla, after the individual competition, will go back to be world #1.
Yes.
Great match between them. Then you have Sophie and also Paulo, newbies to almost to the sport. It's a great combination. And of course, it's not by the age that their talent is being measured. It's about the amazing game that we are watching here. Of course, now a little opening from Carla. As we see here now in detail, her throw.
She managed to dislodge that, Jack, didn't she? But it didn't
Didn't
perhaps go
fully.
as far as she was hoping.
And I might talk more about the Portuguese players, especially Carla, because I have such a close relationship with her. I believe she's an amazing player because she's able to play a short game, play a long game, play with both ends, and that's something that really differentiates from other players.
Oh,
As we
that's
now
a
saw
great shot.
a great shot.
What a
by
wonderful
Carla.
shot that was.
As we see here on the replay, managing to push slightly the jack, but now there's still an opening here for Great Britain that can use that, do that it's in between the reds to push it farther. Graham, asking you now about the World Championships. How do you promote such an important event for any sport, but particularly boccia?
Yeah, well, we're trying to engage with the local media in South Korea. We've got a television deal. We will have live streaming, obviously, as well. And we really want to be able to just tell the world that these are our World Championships, that we're excited about them. And outside of Paralympic Games, this is the pinnacle of our sport. I think any sport should really try to make the most of its own World Championships, because for most athletes there are two things that they dream of winning, and one is a Paralympic or an Olympic medal, and the other is becoming world champion. And they don't get those opportunities very often. So the more we can do to promote what we have, to tell the world that this is the pinnacle, the absolute high point of our sport, then the more we can attract people to the sport and broaden the appeal. So I think it's going to be an interesting World Championships. We know that South Korea have a very rich history in the sport. They've taken it very seriously in the last 10, 12 years. They've invested heavily in infrastructure, and they've produced some fantastic players. And I'm looking forward to going out there and seeing the impact of bocce in South Korea. And that's part of the story we want to tell as well, is that there are countries, and we've seen the rise of the Asian nations in general over the last few years, the amount of development, the amount of coaching, the infrastructure that's going in. It really shows that those things can then be transformed into performance. And then you have a truly global sport where there is strength and depth all around the world. And I think that's where we're heading in bocce.
Of course, as now we saw Portugal play their last ball in this end. Great Britain still with 2. I believe from what they were seeing, they're scoring 1. But of course, someone that wants to win do not go for only 1. They'll try to go for more. But here we're seeing a different approach. They're playing to the other side already, seeing what they'll do on the next end. There's also this component as that I was used to see a great British snooker player, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
That kind of superstar that I was talking about to have in the sports. Now that we have the indication that 1 for blue, it's 1 for Great Britain. And now the game is tied at 1. As we go, not to the 1 minute in between the ends. Obviously now, see here, also court number 4, sorry, in the match between Hong Kong, China, and Hungary. And as I was saying, when I was seeing Ronnie O'Sullivan, sometimes he already had the game lost. He had already the game won, but still he needed to go to the table and try to do something just to gain that table time and maybe even make the opponent furious.
It's funny that technique, that tactic of throwing out wide on the other side of the court. I was talking to someone earlier on about that because we saw it in one of the BC1, BC2 team matches earlier on. I think it's where you feel that your point is secured and you don't really want to upset or risk that one shot by trying to perhaps take 2 or 3. So I suppose in some ways it's a cautious, conservative move. But look, it's given Great Britain 1 point. They're back on level terms, so it was obviously the right tactic at that moment.
And now as the game is tied, we have here Cardoso with a great ball. Still leaves a small opening.
That's a great shot from Paolo, isn't it?
Still managed to leave here a small opening for both players from Great Britain. Perhaps will be Sophie to play. Try to bring the jack along the court. That's a great opening by Sophie. No. She'll go for the second ball. Now we have here some technical problems in the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think it's the display. Something on the screen was obscuring the whole screen, but I think we're back okay now.
Okay. Be Sophie preparing her play. It's a good shot by Sophie. We've been watching a lot of BC4 action here on this court in the last 2 days. And of course, we've seen Great Britain here. And they're playing amazingly. And of course, we've been bringing some very close games, some very emotional games. Games that only finish on the last ball or the last second. Little details that make all the difference.
She's managed to dislodge that, hasn't she, Carla Oliveira there? But I think the advantage is still with Great Britain.
Still Great Britain. But one of the things that we've been seeing here in Póvoa is that this red ball here, that it's behind the jack, can be really important for Portugal.
Oh, that's a great shot.
Great shot. Yeah, still this red ball that it's behind, and also that blue can be used by both pairs to bring the jack close to them. As you now see the communication between the British pair. And of course here in the commentary box, we're both rooting for different pairs. Of course, me rooting for Portugal, Graham rooting for Great Britain, but I believe that we're both rooting for a good game and an aim to the sport.
Oh yes, we
That,
certainly
I
are.
believe that's the most important part. Is that
Absolutely.
besides we wanting our country to win, we want Boccia to win.
That's right. Well,
And Steve Maguire,
well, they were in discussion for quite a long time, weren't they, before that shot?
they talked a lot, and maybe now they will try that approach that I was talking about. They played safely against this red that it's behind, and now they'll push the jack to the blue. A good shot by
That's it.
Sophie.
I think you were spot on there, Diogo. You called that one.
Now Portugal will go for their fourth ball. And it will be... We see here some pep talk by Paulo to Carla. Seeing the young guy motivate the European champion. Now playing left-handed. Managing to push the jack.
That's a great shot, and it's got the crowd getting very much involved upstairs on the balcony, hasn't it? The Portuguese fans really enjoyed that.
Of course, Portugal playing at home, having almost full support from the crowd, of course. Some British delegates here, but also live on YouTube. Just shows the love for the sport and the intensity of this match. Of course, now will be less than 1 minute and 2 balls to play for Great Britain. Stephen Maguire to play now. He'll want to open those reds to have view.
Oh,
But he managed to
what a
land
fantastic shot, isn't it?
right next to the jack.
Just the precision of that, absolutely amazing.
And now it's Portugal to play. 2 balls left. Let's see.
He just landed that ball on such a small area. Fantastic bit of skill from Stephen Maguire there.
Skill, precision, accuracy, but never luck. With these athletes, it's never a lucky ball. They train for this. Now let's see. Paulo to play. Pushing that red to the jack. As we see now here on this replay. It's Portugal that is scoring. Indeed, Great Britain.
Yeah, that was a great shot, wasn't it, from Paulo?
Responding to the great shot
Yeah,
by Stephen.
Yeah, this has been a really, really tight end. Oh, that one not quite coming off.
He managed to touch slightly on the blue. Could it be enough to score? Carla will go onto the court. 50 seconds left in the end. Asked for the score. It's only 1 for red. Smallest margin. So Carla will want to attack. Push the jack out of there and hope to score more points. But by risking, she can give the opponent a point. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling nervous in this game.
Well, it's such a tight game, isn't it? 1-1. Only one ball advantage to Portugal in this end.
Carla chooses to run out the clock. Almost
Well, I think
the
they've
same
only-
strategy
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Great Britain used before playing 2 balls to the other side of the court. Now she takes all the time that it's available. But I've been commentating here since the first game. More than 30 games that I've commented. I have already here some finals matches between the 2 best pairs in the world. And it never fails to bring emotion. And we're seeing here.
So I think it's this is looking at those 2 balls there for the second point, I think, isn't it? I think
Exactly.
Portugal have got 1, but it's quite tight between those other balls.
They wanted to see if it was 2. Let's wait for the decision from the referee. She's the one in charge. And it's 1 for red.
Just the 1.
The smallest margin possible in this game as we go to the 4th end. 2-1 for Portugal. And it's a game of details.
It's very tight, isn't it? But we've seen so many matches this week where It's been tight going into the third or fourth end, and then all of a sudden somebody races away and goes from a 2-1 lead to a 6-1 lead, or they go from a 2-1 lead to suddenly losing 4-2, and you just wonder whether we're heading to one of those ends where the game suddenly turns decisively in one team's favor or the other.
As we see here also court number 4 with the pair from Hong Kong, China winning 4-1 against Hungary. As now for what can be a decisive end, it will be Great Britain and Stephen Maguire to throw the jack.
Sounds like the Portuguese ultras are getting involved there, Diogo.
Of course, supporting the pair from Portugal. And here can be a great play by Great Britain to play close game and to the side, to the right side, near the line from the court, hoping that perhaps Portugal will miss and throw some balls out of the court, and not a play that we're used to see by Stephen Maguire.
I think he's a bit disappointed with that, isn't he?
He can take away some angle from Paulo, but I believe that Carla can see the ball. And of course, as soon as she saw the ball was short, just like a shark when smelling blood in the water, she went to get ready. There are some players that just have that competitive edge to them.
Yeah.
Let's see
Can
now.
smell the weakness.
And it's what we've been talking about since the first day of competition, and already here in this stream. It's all about the details, and a great ball by Carla. It's a great ball.
Well, that's put Portugal right back in control of this end as well, isn't it? Even though Great Britain have the advantage with the jack, Stephen a little bit short with his first ball.
He now can also try to go again for the jack, as he can see it slightly. Maybe even push it to give Sophie also an angle. But it's the uncertainty, the smallest details, making all the difference. He managed to strike the blue. One out of the court. And now the referee.
Well, he's moved that jack, but I don't think he's got the advantage here. It looks to me as if it's still red.
We have here a referee measuring with a compass. It's those small details, small inches. It will be now Great Britain once again to play.
Yeah.
Wait for the third ball. And we talked so many times here how important it is for a team to play the last balls, making their opponents use all 6. And Sophie, still a short ball on the jack.
It's still a little bit short, as you say, isn't it?
But now she can push. I sense that now can be a great ball for Great Britain. Of course, deep down, I want her to miss, but I want a great bocce match. And that's what happens.
That's a really good shot from Sophie Noonan, isn't it?
bringing everything to the court.
Just seizing back control of the end and control of the balls there.
Let's see how Portugal will react to this ball. Is it easy to promote a game like this with such intensity?
I think so. I think one of the things that I think we have going for us as a sport is that.
And a great ball.
Oh,
by
that's a
Paul.
great shot.
As we see here, this replay. Right on the blue, managing to get it away, enabling Carla to play on that gap in between the two reds and the three blue. But as you were saying, Graham,
Yeah, I think it's one of the advantages we have. It's a sport that is quite easily understandable. Most people have played bowls or boule in some form. They understand the concept. There's obviously certain differences about this sport in terms of the type of ball being used and the arenas themselves and often the flooring. But the general principle of 6 balls nearest the jack, that's the scoring system. People can understand that. And I then think it's about, like any sport, the more you learn, the more you realise.
and another excellent ball in this final. That opening made by Paula, enabling Carla to play this ball. But now GB have the opportunity to get the jack out of the court, but only with 2 balls left. They needed a precise ball in the cross now.
So there's an example, really, what I was saying. You don't need to understand much about the sport to appreciate
to see that it's a
that
great
was a
ball.
brilliant shot.
Of course, now Great Britain still with 2 balls left. Portugal with 3. 1 minute 30 for Great Britain to play here. This is such an important ball for the game.
Oh.
And a great ball.
The referee's just checking to see whether that jack is still in play.
And it's still in play. Great Britain to play this last ball. There are some tense moments here. The other match already finished, so all eyes of this venue are on this game, on this last ball from Great Britain. And it's in moments like this that we see the true champions. They know that all eyes are on them, but they remain calm, cool and collected. From the outside, inside, they may be screaming.
I think maybe they are. But this is tricky, isn't it? Because the jack is right on the line.
And Sophie managed to get closer to the jack. And this can be the last ball of the game if Portugal managed to win. And Carla, with her experience, knowing that this can be a decisive ball, they can win. Here the gold goes to the court to breathe. Also allow her partner to breathe. 1 minute left for Portugal. Will we hear the Portuguese anthem once again here? Or will still Great Britain have a chance?
Ooh.
And we're not sure about this ball. It doesn't look like from this
Doesn't
view.
look from that overhead angle, does it?
It's one for blue still, one for Great Britain. 20 seconds left, 2 balls to play. Tense moments to the last ball. And it's a great ball here now by Paulo.
That's the one.
Carla asks for the score. It should be 2 for Portugal. It is. And we see here they will not play the last ball. We're seeing Paulo very close, a shy smile. Carla talking a lot with him. Paulo was feeling his own hand.
Oh, what
here.
a great finish, Diogo.
It's a great finish for a great match.
Great finish, right down to the wire, wasn't it? He needed to make it with that last ball. There was pressure on. Stephen Maguire's just come down to have a look to be certain.
He wasn't fully sure about it. But no measurement will be
No.
needed.
I think he knows, yeah. He's gone over to shake Paulo's hand.
And I believe this is one of the first times that this Great Britain pair doesn't win in the last couple of years.
It is. They've been winning almost on every World Cup event, so that's a great result for Portugal.
So, end of the match here. The BC4 final. As we see now, Paulo talking a lot with Paulo. The game finished. 4 for red, 1 for blue, 4 for Portugal, 1 for Great Britain. Portugal wins the gold medal. And the Portuguese anthem will be once again heard here in this venue. Graham, once again, thank you so much for being here, giving us a different perspective on the sport and what World Bocce is trying to do. It was great to have you here, as I've been talking with all other people. I talked with coaches, athletes, liners, referees, CEOs. I believe it's good for people to have a broader knowledge.
Absolutely. It's been my pleasure, Diogo, and it was such a great final. Hopefully we'll see perhaps these two teams, Portugal and Great Britain, in the BC4 final at the World Championships in Korea in a few weeks' time. It would make another great final, wouldn't it?
It would, and hopefully for Portugal with the same result. Of course, Great Britain will want the revenge, but it would be great if they go there and show the same bocce that they showed here. So it's time to say goodbye. We'll see us once again at 5, where we're going to have the BC3 pairs final between Brazil and Singapore. So all, see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was good.
It was tense. I
Yeah.
was feeling my heart pumping a lot.
No, but do it. It's nice to do it with a professional guy like you. Honestly, because I know how difficult it is when you don't know the ins and outs of sport.